Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to not Committed Critics, but still a Committed Critics show. And we're still committed to our opinions and also each other.
Aww.
I'm Kevin Lau.
I'm Zachary Wright. Guys, I'm back. It's been so long.
Zach's
How
back.
are you?
Doing good. And
Kevin,
you know who else is
Who
back?
is this man with us? I haven't met this. Who is this man?
It's Danny Vincent, I believe.
What happened to Ryan?
Oh, no. Ryan's busy right now. You know this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's busy rotting in the ditch I buried him in.
Oh my god.
No. So, Danny, how long have you been a racist?
Jeez.
Damn, Kevin loaded that question for him. You just
This always
loaded
happens.
that.
I go on a podcast. It's like how Sarah thinks I'm a sexist.
Dude. Yeah.
It's okay. It's not the first time I targeted that question. Zach was the victim another time.
I was the
but it
first one.
Off air.
Yeah, it's fine.
We'll cut it out. It's fine.
I've been
I'll just bleep
canceled.
it. I'm going to bleep it so we don't know what he said.
So Danny, how long have you been a bleep?
But yeah, anyway, I've been gone for a while, guys. I moved to Florida.
Wow.
And I'm
Zach is now the Florida man from
I
all
am
the
the
news
Florida
articles.
man.
Every time
Florida
it
man.
doesn't show a picture of a Florida man, it's Zach.
Oh my God, no. Yeah, but that's where I've been gone or been doing the last couple months. That's why I've been on a lot of shows. So Kevin, thank you to you for holding down the fort. You were fantastic as always.
Thank you. I always love talking about VeggieTales and Hades Town, which even though I didn't listen to Hades Town until the week before
Hades
recording.
Town looks really interesting to me. However, why the hell did we talk about VeggieTales?
Well, a good
I
question.
don't know. I wasn't here.
Danny was part of the inspiration.
But I take no responsibility for that.
That's fair. So yeah, Danny was on Caleb's podcast, and Caleb was the one who guested on the VeggieTales episode on the Caleb show, Hot Trash Unlimited.
Okay,
and they were either Danny or Caleb brought Jonah a VeggieTales movie at some point.
It was almost certainly Caleb.
Right.
I don't think of a
And
Jonah VeggieTales movie.
Right. And then Danny was like, oh, we could just talk about it on Kevin's podcast. And Caleb was like, I think what we just said denies us access to Kevin's podcast. I'm like, nah,
we're good.
I want to talk about Jonah VeggieTales movie. Why not? Do it for the walls.
Well, you know what? That's fine. That worked out. It was a good episode. Sorry, Danny, what were you going to say?
Mm-hmm.
No, I just started thinking. I just remembered recently on my podcast I did a Kevin impression. I can't remember what the context was.
Oh,
I was there. It was for Loki, Danny. I just edited that episode.
No, it wasn't in the Loki one. It was before that. It was in a
okay,
Green Room episode.
Okay.
I talked about Kevin, and I did I don't remember why I did a Kevin voice, but I did.
I don't know what sparked it either. You're just like, hi, I'm Kevin. And Tyler's like, that's not what Kevin sounds
so Danny,
like.
since when have you been a racist?
Whoa.
Jeez. Stop it. Oh, wait, hold on. If I'm doing a Kevin impression, it's like, hey guys, I'm Kevin. What? Like, that's just the
No,
Kevin
I'm just
voice.
kidding.
That's my real voice when I'm not doing a podcast.
I'll take that part out too. Oh my God.
Speaking of why is with Ty and Dan, I forgot what I was going to bring up.
Their Loki episode's great. Tommy Hids is the best joke they've ever made.
The
reference to Freebirds, great.
I was glad I got to go in on Freebirds. I said it on that podcast. It is the room of animated movies. If you haven't seen Freebirds, everyone should.
Listen,
I wanted to see Freebirds, but
we're
then
not
I
talking
just
about
kind of
Freebirds.
passed on it. And then now, Danny, you convinced me to watch Freebirds now, so I'm going to watch it at some point.
It's a great movie. I would screen it at the Music Box at midnight. It seems like a good choice.
If we do, can we do a Freebirds episode for Thanksgiving special?
Sure, fine.
I will gladly come on to talk Freebirds.
God. Here's the thing, Dave. I edit their Loki episodes, right? And I was listening to that. I'm like, okay, talk about Loki. And all of a sudden, I was just listening to back what I did, and I was playing Breath of the Wild. And all of a sudden I hear Freebirds. And then Danny's talking about Owen Wilson as a turkey. And I'm like, I had to look up from screen. I'm like, what is going on? Am I still in a Loki episode? What just happened? It was such a turn.
Well, yeah, we are recording our Loki episodes at night, which means we get very honestly, so I work in childcare, and I'm so exhausted right now. Work's terrible in summer because you don't really get normally I get a 4-hour break in the middle of the day. right? Normally I get a 4-hour break in the middle of the day. Today, now I get an hour-long break, and it's literally my lunch break. So it sucks because if my break wasn't at lunch, I'd get to eat lunch at work with the kids, and it's actually relaxing. But no, instead I have to take a break during the one relaxing part of the day. So it's just like I come home exhausted, and then I have to watch Loki, and then I sound like I'm complaining.
At least Loki's good, though.
Loki.
Yeah, Loki's really good.
Exactly. It's no Falcon and Winter Soldier, and by that I mean it's not bad.
I was like, leave that slander out of here.
No, I'm with Danny on this one. Sorry, Zach and Ryan.
So since when were you two racist?
No,
I was waiting for that. I knew that.
I'm
was
sorry.
about
I don't like Bucky very much.
Who the
Too many
hell's
white
Bucky?
people.
That's fair. Oh, so you don't like veterans, Kevin? You don't like veteran support?
Jeez.
The VA?
Well, here's my opinion on the U.S. Army.
Oh no!
Instead of the VA, why not the TVA? Get it?
I love the
Because
wraparound.
it's the first Marvel television show, the Television Association.
Jesus.
They're coming for us. But so I just want to clarify, as you can probably tell, there's no real topic today.
Oh yeah,
in this episode. This is just we're
just
testing out the
not allowed to
waters
talk
here.
about In the Heights because we haven't recorded that.
Correct. Yes.
That's the one thing we cannot talk about.
This is a preview of our Fuck Around podcast. We'll be posting these exclusively on Patreon. So if you want to listen to more of these, we'll be less Patreon-y about it, I guess you can say.
So this episode is free and available to everyone.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
This is the taste.
Oh my god, that's great! Because I don't pay for you guys. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm glad I can hear myself talk.
You can hear yourself talk on this one. It's fine. Look, even if you're on a Fuck Around podcast that's Patreon exclusive, I'll still send you the audio file so you can hear yourself.
Thank you.
Just
I
don't
won't
leak it
listen to
anywhere.
myself.
Yeah. There's no
Also-
thesis. There's no topic. We're just shooting the shit.
Mm-hmm.
Danny, this is a message from your past self. Don't eat the chicken in LA.
Why?
Don't eat the chicken in LA.
What's wrong with LA chicken?
I don't know. Now we're gonna see if I remember that I don't want to eat chicken in LA. And when I listen to this episode on the way back, I would have
Listen.
gone to LA by then, and I'll figure out if I've eaten chicken in there.
You gotta try El Pollo Loco. Come on.
Yeah.
I have to go back to In-N-Out. Let's be real here.
Yeah,
Man,
that's true.
You know what I should talk about on this? I should talk about Mark and I's road trip on this podcast because I have so many stories about it.
Well, before we do that, Zach, did you have a question that you wanted to prompt us with?
You know
Oh, my
what?
bad. I'm sorry. I was going to
No,
just
you're
talk about how we saw
fine.
porn
I
stars
was
in
looking for a
In-N-Out.
question. Guys, how do you feel about toll roads?
Toll roads? I hate them.
Well, Zach, let me answer your question with another question. What are your thoughts on organized religion?
No, we can't do that, man. We can't. Our audience isn't ready for that yet.
No, it's a little too heavy. You got to pay for that question.
They're not ready for that
You
yet.
remind me of the time I just casually said on my on why he is, I think America is a failed state.
Oh my god!
You just totally dropped a lot of bombs on that the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode. I was here for it.
And it was just kind of like, oh, all right, we're moving on to talk about the show. But like, it's just a totally fair response, I gotta say.
I love Tyler
don't really know.
redirecting Danny on like why is or anything. We're just like, all right, moving on.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of times where I'll just be like, I know we gotta move on, but let me say this, please.
Dude, the turkey one, that was what I can't believe how long he let you talk about turkey.
Well, Freebirds is the actually, honestly, the reason I was talking about Freebirds so much is because I went to Owen Wilson's Wikipedia page, and I was shocked to see it like before, like it was listed in the top of roles he was in, and I was like, why is this listed as one of his most famous roles?
Is it really?
I believe so. I can double check right now.
I'm looking right now. Hang on.
I mean, it was a kids movie. I think it performed well enough.
I think it was like voice roles, including Fantastic Mr. Fox. Yeah, it's there. It says Lightning McQueen, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Marmaduke, and then Free Birds. Marmaduke is a bigger deal, though. So,
wow.
wow.
Wow. Owen Wilson was in one of my student films. We took a clip of Owen Wilson. Les Sac Puppets.
Les Sac Puppets.
Oh, I remember that. Do you remember my Actually, that would have been before you came. I don't know if you're in CP, whatever the production class, the first production class we have to take.
It changed. It changed since you guys were in college, but go ahead.
Okay. So we had to make an experimental film, and I got a D on my first submission.
Rip.
Even though, well, I was just kind of like, it's experimental. They're like, yeah, but you didn't use the color balances right, and the camera's clearly that. I'm like, no, I wanted to look. I was like, no,
it's experimental.
This was intentional.
The whole point of this was that, like, I have to experiment with the camera. If it doesn't look good, I'm sorry that my experiment didn't turn out the way you wanted. But anyway, so I had to redo it all together into like a 3-minute music video, and I called it Balehood.
God.
I believe that was CP102 because I remember that project as well.
I believe CP102 got turned into CP400.
Well, yeah, because it's a whole new system now.
I just remember
maybe like a 300 class.
I just remember my professor doing it. And I remember I always mispronounce her name, and I don't want to say it on the... Well, I don't think we want to name professors on this podcast anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't want to name professors. Okay, I wanted to ask if it was the same professor.
I don't know. It was a woman, though.
Mine was a woman.
I'll drop her name in the Discord and see if that looks right.
Nope. That was my 101 professor. Okay. Who actually, she was someone who I had a good relationship with, because I was the only person in our class who liked Boyhood, and this was like when Boyhood came out. Really? Yeah. No one else liked Boyhood. Nope, not that one either.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, so we didn't have the same professor. Oh, okay. I don't even know who that is.
Noah had her. Noah liked her a lot.
Last name. You guys are, whatever.
We'll call her Miss C.
Miss C.
So your Boyhood professor. I also really like her too. She was on she taught CP.
You know who else? We're just spilling tea. This next story is about the name I just put in.
Oh no, I'm triggered.
We love that guy.
No, we don't. So
I love that guy.
When I graduated, I won an award from the CP department, which I thought was hysterical in a way, because I didn't think I don't know if you remember this, Kevin. I pretty much gave up on cinema in the last 2 years. I was like,
I also do want to clarify for listeners, CP stands for cinema and photography.
Yeah, let's do a little bit of clarification real quick. So we all went to the same college, if we guys didn't catch on.
We should probably catch on.
We all went to the same college. We were all in the same like department, and like Kevin was a bit older than me. I think Danny, when did you graduate, Danny?
I graduated in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, Danny graduated the same year I did.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I won an award.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I thought it was really funny that I won an award, because I completely abandoned them, shit talked the department for pretty much the entire year and a half.
As you should.
Even though I still had got the major already, so I completed the major because I was like, well, I might as well have this degree, right? I already put so much money into it, I might as well just get it. Double major. But I won an award for being a good critic, which I think is really funny, because I took the guy we're talking about's class more as a troll job, because I knew exactly how to play him so he'd like my reviews.
Was it the one that we had to record our reviews? Because I was there too.
Yes.
Is it for your Coco review?
Well, yeah, but okay. Let me finish the story, then we can talk about my Coco review for a little bit. Yeah. So my parents came in for this, because this is also the week I did the Shamrock Shake play, which is was my senior thesis project in theater. Was I wrote and directed a staged reading of what I wrote of a few full-length play. So my parents had come into town for the awards so my mom goes up to excuse me.
We'll call him Greg now on. Let's call him Greg.
No, honestly, I think it'd be funny if you just bleep the name.
That's fine.
Okay. Can I tell the story with the name and we just bleep the name?
Sure. Different people have different pitch shift for the bleep.
That's fine. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways.
All right. So my mom goes up to and she's like, "Oh, Danny took your review class, and he writes so many great reviews on Letterboxd." And she just goes, "Well, I'm sure he took it from me." And I'm like, "Mom." My mom told me the story afterwards, and I'm like, "Mom, I write reviews on Letterboxd that are absolutely nothing like he teaches me, because I think what he teaches me is stupid. I think I think it is pseudo-intellectual stuff. And I know you're actually covering like intertextuality on your Breaking Through Cinema podcast, but I think a lot of it is total bullshit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I agree with that, Danny. Intertextuality is the dumbest thing I think I've ever like learned in film school. But before we go on with that real quick, let's take a quick break and then we'll go back into how I feel about the film school.
I was gonna start talking about The Last Jedi, which is always a fun topic to bring up. So you can go on break. We get into my story there with the man who shall be bleeped.
We will be back in a minute.
Don't you wish there was a pop culture review site that appealed to cinephiles, both professional and casual? Well, look no further than crpwrites.com. New content such as movie and TV reviews, film essays, and more are released every week by writers who crave for movies like every moviegoer craves for popcorn. CRP Writes is dedicated to making sure no one is wasting time or money where they shouldn't be. After all, you have to be able to buy your popcorn and eat it too. crpwrites.com. Casual reviews with purpose since 2018.
Starting a podcast? Try a Podbean Unlimited hosting plan. It's what we use here at Committed Critics, giving us the opportunity to have our show on Pandora, iHeartRadio, and even Spotify. You can get your first month of unlimited hosting for free on us by going to podbean.com/committedcrits, just like our Twitter, or by clicking the link in the description. Podbean, the easiest, most affordable option to get started in podcasting.
All right, and we're back. All right, Danny, you can't swear for the next minute, but give us your story.
Well, you gotta bleep that though. So
I know I gotta bleep it. I gotta go to all these bleeps.
Well, to leave it to one story is a little silly, but I will give my Last Jedi one. Well, it's more like the paper I wrote for The Last Jedi, which was so stupid. So, obviously, his classes were always about intertextuality. And I was like, well, the obvious thing to talk about with The Last Jedi with intertextuality is the Rashomon stuff. Which is the part where, to explain to the people listening, it's the part where Kylo tells his side of the story, then Luke tells his side of the story, then we see the actual story type of thing.
Right.
So what I wrote my paper arguing that the best part of the movie was the Finn and Rose subplot, which is obviously, like, as someone who really loves The Last Jedi, I don't think it's the worst part of the movie, to be clear, but I definitely would never bat for it and say it's the best part of the movie in actuality. Right. But I have, like, the Thin the Rose subplot is the best part because it proves the intertextuality with the classic Tom Stoppard play, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
You did not.
I wrote 700 words on that, arguing that the entire point of Finn in The Last Jedi is that he's trying to escape being in a Star Wars movie, but the fact of the matter is that once you're in a Star Wars movie, you're stuck there forever, being constantly regurgitated as toys and stuff. So eventually, Rose helps him learn that they are stuck in Star Wars forever, and he can either try to run away and always be pulled back into it, or he can embrace it and become a hero. And that's what, although that's not really what Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead is about. It's just about these people trying to escape. Love it. The thing is about that class, and I think Kevin will remember this, I don't think a lot of people got that they were in a class.
Yeah, no, definitely not. No.
Because the thing is,
they never do.
You don't really need to. You don't need to believe anything you're writing in that class. You just need to know how to write for your audience.
Exactly. Write for your audience, but also with that professor and then a few others, it's just more like they just want you to have your own original thoughts. Like, that's it. Like, if you're showing that you're actually thinking things and not copying from other people, like, you're pretty much solid.
Like my political video essay about SpongeBob.
Hey, but that one's actually pretty good, though. I really enjoy that one.
Well, what was funny about that is that I had some people, we're talking about politics for a second on this podcast. We had a few people who were much further right than I am getting mad at my paper because I argued that Patrick is an icon of conservative ideology. People want to be like Patrick.
Like, no, this is Patrick.
No, this is Patrick.
And people
Proving
were like,
their own point.
How dare you? There were like some comments on because we had to give peer review of the projects, and some of the comments were, you cannot call Patrick a conservative character just because he's stupid. I was like, I can call him whatever I want. It's a paper I'm writing.
It's my paper. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, but the really amazing part of that story is I submitted it as a joke to the Little Nutty Film Festival.
Oh no.
And it got accepted. And the reason it's funny is because the time limit for the movies in that festival was supposed to be 7 minutes. That was a 20-minute long video essay.
Oh my
that they
god!
had to screen.
And they accepted it.
Yeah, and they had to screen it because guess who was one of the judges?
Your professor?
The professor?
No.
You were one of the judges?
No. Was
yeah.
Oh, okay. No, this was for a different. I didn't do that though. Essay for a different professor because I did it for an animation class, which he doesn't teach.
Right.
I saw the essay and he gave it because one of my friends showed me the scores because they just could not believe it did well. He gave it a 9.5 out of 10.
Nice.
And
What?
The other judges gave it because there were 3 judges. One of them gave it a 6 out of 10 because they're like, this doesn't technically qualify, but it's an interesting essay. And then one person gave it a 2 out of 10, saying this is not a movie. And I'm like,
This is not a movie.
I think it's not. It was not a movie. It was basically a PowerPoint that I edited as a video and narrated. And what's funny is that I was told that if you tallied up all the score averages, I actually came in 4th. So I got very close to getting an award for something that should not have been accepted.
Well, there you go. Film school.
This is just proof that
joke.
college is a scam, guys. College is a joke and a scam.
College is a game that you have to play. It's
Well,
not
okay.
real.
Exactly.
Indeed, yeah.
Well, Danny.
College is a game for sure.
So, Danny, I want to ask this. And I mean, this isn't to put you down in any way, but like, so you studied film, but like, how would you say your technical skills are from the classes? That
I hate it. I hate technical stuff. I think my big takeaway from film school that I always talk about has actually, first to answer your question is I'm not good at technical stuff in general.
Mm-hmm.
And film school didn't really help me there.
Right.
But the bigger thing for me with film school is first I took a screenwriting class. And I feel like the screenwriting course was okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot
for the
of
most
stories
part, yeah.
but it's okay. But then I went and did a playwriting class just to try to improve my screenwriting, and I literally changed my major to theater because I learned so much more in like a week of that class on how to structure a story and like tell a story than I did in like a semester and a half of the screenwriting track,
Right.
at school.
Yeah, the screenwriting track at our college was kind of weird.
Well, to be fair though, the theater department doesn't even have a playwriting track. When I graduated, we had a meeting. What do you call it? Like all the seniors in the theater department came together for a meeting with the chair and asked for improvements. Yeah. And thing is, I was kind of an outsider in the theater department because I really was just trying to write plays and occasionally show up and act. But I brought up I raised my hand. I was like, even though I know I'm the only person here who's pursuing playwriting, I think it's pretty ridiculous that there's only one undergrad playwriting course. And the thing that made me happy there is this is me being I was a little bit of an outsider, but we were when it was done, all the suggestions were on the board, and it was do you agree or disagree? And I was one of them, mine was we need to add more playwriting courses for undergrads. Agree or disagree? Right, yeah. And everyone agreed. And I was oh, everyone's siding with me. I'm so happy. I also just remembered, I won't name names, obviously, but even though I'm sure she probably doesn't even know either of you guys exist. No offense.
That's fair.
I don't even think she knows I exist. But we had a vote about if we need more diversity on stage, because the fact is that there was a year at SIU where the big stage production was Peter and the Starcatcher, where all the roles on stage were men except for one woman role. And of the men on stage, I think 3 of them were actors of color and the other 9 were white. So there was a discussion about, do you think there is equal opportunity afforded? And only one person voted no, and it was a white girl. And I just remember that happening. And everyone was just kind of looking at her like she was insane. Because everyone was yeah. What? This is a little ridiculous. And she's no, I think I had enough opportunity here. I'm of course you did. You were in a show that semester.
You were the one girl.
No, she actually wasn't. I want I want to have that on record. It wasn't the one girl who got the part in that show.
Okay.
Like she agreed that there should have been whatever. I don't want to put her on blast because she was
Put her on blast without
she was on the
naming
right side. She was on the right side of history, type of thing. You know, I don't want to put her on blast.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I just remember that happening, and it was very so many fun stories from theater, so many fun stories from SIU. I guess you can bleep our school. I don't know if you guys want to know what our school is.
I think mine's my Instagram, so it's fine.
Oh, okay,
I mean, like Danny, you and Tyler mentioned it openly on your podcast, so I think anyone's gonna trace it back. They're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, but they're not gonna. Yeah, it's true. I don't know. School.
Not that it's
Kevin,
any committing.
what are your thoughts, Kevin? What are your thoughts on film school? How did it like help you out?
So
at all?
Film school was helpful for me, but not in the sense where it's like I'm going to go to film school and learn things kind of deal. It's more of you get as much out of it as you put in kind of deal. And I was thankfully had a lot of good professors as well. But except for like I had a few bad professors too. But like most of the classes I had were good professors. So when I went into film school, I already knew the technical stuff. Like I had been toying with film since I was 14, watching tons of Film Riot and Indie Mogul kind of deal and making my own stuff. So when I went into study film, I was like, yes, this is what I want to do with my life. I know how to do the basics of it. So now I just want to learn more and network and meet more people. And that was great for that. I met a lot of people that like, obviously you guys and then quite a few other people.
Too bad I hate movies, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Okay. Danny hasn't been beneficial for my film life, but he's actually helped. You helped me with criticism. There's that.
Also, you were in my classic film Shouldn't Can, so
yeah, exactly. So you still helped me. But yeah, no, it's like I liked being able to rent the gear when I could and just toy around with the equipment hands on. And then when I was making my own films, I tried to do as close to one man style as possible. I might have someone do sound, but I was always writing, shooting, and editing my own stuff for classes, and even I was making films outside of classes too.
Wow. I feel like though that's kind of I think, no offense, I think you just kind of exposed one of the issues I had with film school, which is that I don't really think there was much of an organizational effort to have you work together outside of a couple of the RSOs. And one of the RSOs I was what? No, I wasn't in that cult. That one. I'm talking about the one cult. Well, no, I was gonna say culture, but yeah, that cult as well. That works too. I did not like the culture of one of the RSOs at all.
Yeah, well, definitely, for sure. There's always that. Apparently, that's common in all film schools. Like, there's that one RSO, film RSO. It's just
it's the big one though at SIU. Yeah. I don't know if it still is because I know there was some restructuring going on after
it got better. Okay, it got better when I left.
Good,
recently.
But I was very opposed to it at the time, and then the other one, which I liked, which I'll say because I liked it, was Alt News. But the issue with that is that they were more focused on doing documentary stuff, and even though I made a couple of documentaries for them, I'm not really a big documentary filmmaker.
Right.
But it was still it was all right. Like you got to learn. For me, you got to learn that you don't like something before you realize you don't want to do it anymore.
Exactly.
Nowadays, my parents are always like, "You should go out to LA because you have friends out there who work there and they can get you jobs." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I would literally hate myself."
Exactly.
I don't like it.
Yeah, and the thing is though, like I went in after community college, so like I did all my gen eds at community college, and then I went to SIU for 2 years to study film. So like I went in. It's not something I'd be like, yes, do 4 years of film school. I'd be like, do community college first, get your gen ads out of the way, then kind of condense all your film university money for like 2 years, and that's it.
Right? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
For me, like in my aspect, so like I came in from a small town, not knowing anything, right? Mm-hmm. So Kevin, you taught me most of what I know new freshman year. Mm-hmm. Our other friend Noah to help teach me a lot of stuff as well. And then when I got a job at the PBS station that's on campus, WSIU, I'll say them because I like them. They were fantastic. I learned more of my like skills and like technical stuff from them. Classes wise, like technical ability, I learned what resolution was all the way up to my senior year. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I know what resolution is. But like they taught it to me wrong in the last semester. Like she said, like 1080 by 1920. I'm like, that's not correct at all. Like, what are you doing?
Were
like,
you're
a teacher?
Wait, you were in CP, right?
I was in both. I was in RTD and
Okay,
CP, so
that's
I
what I was
double
wondering.
majored.
Cool.
Yeah. So the theory stuff is all right, but again, I'm not a big like cinema theory person and like cinema studies. I wanted to go more for the technical aspect, and I learned more from like hands-on stuff, like with work, with friends, stuff like that. The classes really didn't teach me a whole lot from what I already knew, which was kind of sad.
Yeah. It's if you know nothing, you're kind of rolling dice entering the film program. But like, but they give you a foundation. It's not a very good foundation depending on your, the classes and the structure and all that stuff. Like I focused on screenwriting and cinematography. And I learned a lot about those two things because I was able to get a lot of professional feedback because professors I had already had experience in the field. Like my screenwriting professor had sold scripts before. My cinematography professor has shot movies before. Like, they have that experience. And then there's some professors that they have no experience in that. They have the PhD in film, but like they don't have they've never done anything really. And then, so their feedback is kind of useless because they're just not good at what they do.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
To give a shout out to a better department, in my opinion, I thought the theater department kind of has the same issue you're talking about, where there are a few professors who just had PhDs and stuff, but some of them were like for example, the main person I did call as the theory professor. She was really smart. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're talking about the same person. Because
I'm mentioning the one that Zach mentioned, right, in the chat.
Okay, go ahead.
What? I'm talking about theater. I'm talking about the theater department.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
She was in theater, Kevin.
Yeah, there are no theater professors in the chat.
I said theory professor. Sorry.
No, theater. I'm talking about the theater department now because I want to give them a shout out. No, I did actually say theory. There is a theater professor.
Oh, gotcha.
So, yeah. So I thought she was really good. But then also the two main theater professors that I talk about always, one of them, I believe, studied at Yale. And then the other one, it was studied at Yale and was like friends of August Wilson, who like wrote Fences and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. So he's pretty high up there in the theater chain. And then the other one I know acted on Broadway for a solid bit before she got married, like in the early 2000s. So
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Theater department's cool. I just want to give them a shout out because it sounds like I'm bagging on my alumnus or whatever you want to call it. But I'm just bagging on the department that was bad. But yeah.
If you want to study film, study theater instead, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Kevin, take us out.
Yeah.
Good episode.
All right. This has been an episode of the Fuck Around podcast. You got to censor that because it's the last minute.
I can't.
This is a show on Committed Critics. You can follow us on Twitter at Committed Chris, that's COMMITTED, CRITES. And you can follow us on YouTube at Committed Critics. That is spelled the same there as it is here everywhere else. This is a show that will be exclusive on Patreon, linked in the description. So you get the first episode for free as a sample. But then, you got to pay for the rest. Sorry. Gotta keep the show afloat. But special thanks to our current patrons, Davey Peppers from Game Mechanics, Ryan Kolakowski from Ryan Plays Drums, and Jody Wright. Special thanks to our sound engineer, Jordan Smearman, and Danny. Where can we find you?
I'm Danny. Hi. I don't know if you knew that. You can find me on two podcasts. One of them is called Why Is It Ty and Dan? It's a weekly, we say weekly, but now it's like a 3 times a week Marvel podcast, which is on Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can find your podcasts. Then I also have a bi-weekly podcast called The Snub Club, where we talk about the movie that got the most Oscar nominations but no wins. We are currently in the 1930s. If you want to hear us talk about old movies, you find that on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that jazz. And then you can find me on Letterboxd at Blankmints if you want to see my reviews of movies, because I like writing reviews, but I refuse to get paid for it.
Yeah, so we'll have that all linked in the description with the podcast, with the RSS feed, so that way you can just plug it into any podcast platform, and we'll also link your Letterboxd as well. And on that note, we will see you next week when we talk about something. We'll figure it out. See ya.
My trip to LA. No, I'm kidding. Bye. I wonder if I will get the chicken in LA.